do you think there are any gender trends in your field? Like, are there more males than females? Are there more females than males?
Oh, okay.
What's the gender?
So for now, yeah, for now, I see that there's still actually many more male engineers compared to the female in my field. But then we're also actively doing uh, volun voluntary work, which try to inspire next generation girls to embark on the STEM journey. So in the future, I think we are definitely confident that we will see more females in the field. Yeah.
So, as a woman in STEM yourself, have there been any challenges that you have faced? Have you encountered any specific barriers or biases in your career? How did you like navigate through it? If so?
Mm. Yeah, I think for myself, I consider myself quite lucky because I've not faced any specific, let's say, discrimination in terms of gender. But I think my company has quite a healthy, culture in that. So, for example, if you feel that you are discriminated, there is a channel that you can feedback to, let's say, your manager, your HR. So I think if, let's say, in case that you receive this discrimination, it will be very important that you go through the right channel and then bring it up, speak it out, so that other, let's say, the other female will not experience the same issue, yeah, as you. So I think that is very important. Another thing that I feel quite important is that in the STEM career, or maybe in also apply to other career, is that I think when we are doing our job, we are trying to do it the best we can. So we don't consider ourselves as a female or male. So it's yeah, we are just let's say a human being trying to make things better. So yeah, so I think the mindset is also quite important.
Yeah, it's just the perspective that matters at the end of the day. So, I know, like me personally, I met you through the United World Women Singapore STEM Fest. So, are there any other outreach programs or initiatives you're involved in that inspire young women to enter the field? Like, how helpful do you think these events are in making an impact?
Mm. So yeah, so there are actually quite a few that the yeah, that my company is doing. So what I mentioned earlier, there's the job shadowing event which we held, let's say, even 3 to 4 times every year. So yeah, so we will show the girls how is it like working in a STEM company, and I believe other companies also have similar initiative. Yeah, so it's a, I think it's a very useful program to show the students in their early education whether STEM is something they want to pursue. Because when I remember, let's say, earlier in my education, even though I know math and physics may be something that I really like, but I don't really know what career options are out there. So I think it's very good that the school and the STEM companies, they have this initiative to let's say educate the students about their career options early in their yeah, education. So I think that is a very useful thing. And then another thing I think is we have also the career, so we have career fair. So then we, in a career fair, we will send also the female representative in the career fair, so that the students, when they came to visit us, they will know, okay, the STEM career is not just for male, there are also female who are working there. So it's not something that is just for yeah, one gender, let's say. So this is the second one. And on myself, I'm also a physics and math tutor. So during the COVID period, I've also been giving a free tuition for the students while they are not able to go to have like physical classes. So during my tuition, then I will also, yeah, not just to teach them, let's say, how to answer the questions, but maybe to also try to inspire them um, to have some interest
Yeah, so I think it's just demystifying the STEM fields and having access to a role model or a mentor that would potentially reduce the gender gap. It's nice to see you take such initiatives. Yeah, so uh, have you had any mentors or role models who have influenced your career in STEM?
Yes. Yes, I have a lot actually. So, just to name a few. So when I first embarked into my CFD essay research area, I have two professors which inspire me a lot. So one of them is Prof. Basman. He's from Egypt. And then the other one is Prof. Wiley. He's back then he was he was a new professor in NTU. So I think I was one of his first students in NTU. So together, both of them mentor me a lot in my CFD project. Yeah, so Prof. Basman, he's very charismatic prof. You will see his office door is always open. There are a lot of students. Inside and waiting for their turn to talk to Prof. Basman is always very helpful. And then and when he's also the one who taught me the basics for the CFD. He's my CFD module lecturer. Okay, so when he talked about it, he broke it down very nicely, and then we all understand the content very well. I think he's a very good teacher in that sense. Prof. Wiley is very young, and then I think back then he just finished his postdoc in Stanford, if I remember correctly, and then she came to NTU, and then he's very young. He doesn't like us to call him prof. He always say just call him by name, Wiley. And then he's also very, very inspiring and helpful. So whenever, let's say, we have difficulties in a project, he always give us a lot of encouragement. He's always willing to spend a lot of time with us to discuss whatever challenges that we face. So I think those two profs, if not for them, I might not continue with this research topic. So they are, let's say, the people who led me into this field. Yeah, and then after I left NTU for my master's in Imperial College, I have this new prof who oversee me in my Imperial's project, and he's prof. We call him Stelios. Yeah, he's a prof in Imperial College London, and then he's from Greece. He's also a very wise person, and then he's a bit introverted, but then he's still you can see that he's very really passionate about what he's doing. And then he spent a lot of time in the lab himself as well, and then always have time for us to discuss our project with him. And then he also I believe in a time when I was about to leave Imperial and then I was looking for my PhD opportunities, he also tried to help me a lot. He's he actually also talked to his colleague friends to see if they have projects for me. So I'm really very grateful for that as well. And then I think another thing that he's very he's a very inspiring to me is that he's a very optimistic person. So in research sometimes we face a lot of uncertainties, difficulties, because things I would say most of the time doesn't happen the way that you want them to. I mean, the experimental results, simulation results, sometimes they do not turn out to be as let's say in the way that you hope them to. But then he's always very optimistic and then not afraid to try different ways to tackle the questions. And then lastly, I think when I started my work, I met my PhD supervisor in SLB, Dr. Chen Gang. He's a scientist who's been working with SLB for 30 years. And then he came from SLB Cambridge Research Center. And then he knows a lot yeah, I really can't imagine how he knows so much. So he's an electrical, let's say, electromagnetics scientist by training, but he also has a lot of expertise, let's say, in software, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering. He really knows all aspects of engineering. And then in my company, he's a scientific advisor, so I can observe that whoever, whether it's a mechanical engineer, electrical engineer, software engineer, they have questions, they always go to Dr. Chen Gang to ask him, and then he always has an answer to that. And then whenever we have a brainstorming session for, let's say, for problem that we have, he can have easily 10 ideas, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, just list it out, let's say, in a few minutes. So yeah, he's really very knowledgeable. I would say the most knowledgeable person that I know. And then he's also very caring for us. I would say he's like a fatherly figure to us. So together with me, there are 2 other PhD students in SLB. So the 2 of them, they are my seniors. So yeah, so he gave us a lot of advice, research directions, and also help us out when we are, let's say, a bit doubtful about our abilities. He will talk us through, and then inspire us. And then and then he's super fast in his review. So we can imagine, I mean, we can still remember when we sent him our PhD thesis, which is more than 100 pages long. He can review it by, let's say, 2 days, and then it's with a lot of detailed comments. So we are really very amazed by his let's say even the reading speed is very fast. So yeah, so he's he's very humble. Yeah, even though he's let's say he has achieved so much. So he has, I remember about 100 patent memo over also, and then let's say 30 or 40 plus file patents, and then he has 7 books, and then also a lot of journal paper. I can't remember so well the numbers, but then even though he's always so humble and is always so willing to help us. So yeah, I think all these scientists that I met along the way, they are my role models. And even today, let's say Dr. Chen Gang just retired, so I'm no longer under their guidance. But then when I think of them, I still feel very, let's say, very inspired and very encouraged to work towards, let's say, to be scientists like them in the future. Yeah.
I hope I also meet such inspiring and knowledgeable people in my career path. So based on your experience, what skills or qualities do you think are crucial for success in a technical and research-oriented field like yours?
I think first of all is curiosity. So I think that will be a very important driving force if you are to be in STEM field. Because if you are not curious and not interested in what you are doing, I think just by let's say by having a good grades or other success factors will not be enough to push you through. So the first one I would say is the curiosity. And second one I think is to be resilient. So to have resilience, because during research you will have a lot of uncertainties, I would say, because eventually we are going to solve some problems, right? So there are actually a lot of uncertainties in that, and then there will be a lot of times that you let's say the results do not match our expectation, and then during those times it's normal to feel that it's very normal to have some self-doubt, and then it's very normal to feel disappointed. But I think it's also important that we have the resilience to be able to pick ourselves up and eventually get back to the path of research. Yeah, so I think these two factors are really important to being a STEM field.
Okay. So, to end off the podcast, what advice would you give to young women? Like you've already given a lot of advice throughout, but what specific advice would you give to young women who are considering a career in the STEM field, especially like fluid dynamics?
I would say to explore more as more as you can when you are young, because the research is a very focused, usually it's a very focused path. Okay, so in order to know what suits you most or what interests you most, it's good to try as much as you can when you still have a lot of let's say opportunities. So especially in schools, so that is very important. And secondly is don't limit yourself. Okay, so sometimes when we let's say start working on something, or when we look at opportunity, we thought that we are not good enough for that. But yeah, don't have a self limit, but just to give it a try, and maybe you are already good enough. So that's the second one. Then last one I think will be don't be afraid to make mistakes, because we will make a lot of mistakes as we embark on a STEM career. So yeah, so I will quote one of my intern supervisor, let's say her advice to me is don't afraid to make mistake. Okay, so mistake is to be made, but it's not to be made twice. So the same mistake, I think once you make, then you'll know that you will know to try something else. So this is a career or a research path that we will all experience.
Thank you so much for that advice. And with that, we have come to an end of the podcast. Thank you so much for your invaluable time, your invaluable insights. It was truly like I learned so much from just talking to you for an hour. And it's my first time meeting a physicist, so I'm really like it's nice to have that ticked off. Yeah, and with that, we have come, and this is the FemSTEM podcast where inspiration and knowledge collides to propel us forward towards limitless possibilities. Thank you so much once again.